The first thing I want to do today is a little bit off kilter from any of my recent goals. It's been 26 days, which is amazing to think about, but it has been 26 days since Joshua has landed on the surface of this world and had to crash down, barely landing with his helicopter. And what I want to do today is I want to head back over to our helicopter, and I want to bring all of our mechanics tools, and I want to take a look at the helicopter and just find out. Actually, I don't think we'll need our tools for this, but I am going to head over there, and we're going to find out what exactly we need to get this thing up and running again. What Joshua is thinking is that he has been on the surface for too long. This was never meant to be a new home for him. This was meant to be a brief trip to get fuel. We don't really know how a brief trip turned into a full home, but looking back, it was just one thing after another. We would like to make almost a desperate crawl, sprint towards getting the helicopter working. Now that he has spent some time on the surface, Joshua has fully become aware of how terrible the Cataclysm is. The fact that anyone has survived these conditions honestly baffles him, and he would not like to be part of it anymore. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to check on the status of the helicopter, and we're going to take a really good look at it and figure out what exactly we need. Dinosaurs? Okay, not dinosaur zombies. That's good. What exactly we need now that we have a better understanding of mechanics and how this helicopter is going to need to work. What do we need to fix vitally in order to get it working? So let's take a look. The things that we're going to be looking for is the two engines, which I can tell are working. We at least have one working fuel tank, and we do have a functional but damaged medium battery. Another thing that we need to care about is the rotors. It looks like the rotors over here, the small helicopter rotors, they are functional. The battery is dead, so if we find another medium storage battery, we may want to either bring a battery with us to recharge the battery, or possibly just get another storage battery and fully replace that one. It looks like the controls of the helicopter are in good repair, at least the co-pilot controls, which there's no reason why we can't drive from the co-pilot. And outside of that, being able to repair the steel drums is very, very unlikely. However, I do think that this steel drum, we could actually, let's see, let's take a moment here. And can we unload this steel drum right here? It says that the vehicle will no longer be flight worthy. While we were standing here, Issy literally just walked through our freaking thing, and actually managed to, while we were uninstalling the steel drum, managed to damage our helicopter even further. What an asshole. Although I will say that if we did manage to take down one of these Issies, these large bipedal plantina dinosaurs with long necks and tails and leathery skin, that would be enough food for us to survive basically indefinitely. And we didn't even get a chance to remove it. Oh, because it's freezing outside. I see. Why is it so cold? Perhaps it's just because it's 2 a.m. in the morning. But I think that does mean that we're going to have to take a quick nap at the lodge and come back. Because apparently it is so cold that we're actually taking damage. We are freezing to death outside on day 86 of spring. What? Okay, sure. Whatever, Cataclysm. You do you sometimes. As we're heading back in, unfortunately, it does look like some zombies have moved. And we are seeing a handful down there now. There's a creepy crawler, which is some sort of zombie child that has evolved into a mutant beast with blackened skin and massive eyes. His abomination's vile form makes a mockery of its human origin. And we have a lot of dinosaurs over here, which are both a benefit and also a detriment, because while they are going to fight the zombies, they will eventually lose and become zombies themselves, and they're going to probably damage our helicopter moving around. Okay, so it looks like if we were to remove the tank, the big issue is that if we wanted to put one back on, we would need some brazing rods and an acetylene torch, or something equivalent. And we don't have that, so we won't be able to put a new one back on. So I have another idea, which is I want to move the avgas into one of the draining steel drums. And we'll probably lose a little bit doing that, but we don't have that much in the first place. And then we're going to take the gasoline here and move it into the main steel drum, the one that is not draining. Because I'd like to see if how much fuel this actually accounts for. And if we get above like 50 to 60% fuel, looking at everything else, the only thing we would need at this point would be to recharge the battery, which is kind of amazing because anything else we do on here is going to require brazing rods and a acetylene torch. So being able to do any major repairs is pretty much outside of our ability right now. And even if we were to try and do major repairs, we're out in the open field. We don't want to do repairs here. We're between two massive cities, and with wandering hordes, the chances that something comes and finds us is nearly 100%, especially with long tasks like welding. If we ever wanted to fully repair this, we would have to take it to an airfield or something else where it's just really far away and we can possibly put up fences or something like that, or bring it somewhere where we can defend it. Okay, so what we're going to do is I think I might need a siphon of some sort in order to siphon the gasoline out so that we can get the avgas out of this. Okay, after going back and grabbing our tube, I'm going to see about siphoning the fuel into... Oh, I see, okay. Fill an available tank. There we go. So we're going to siphon the fuel, and we did lose 0.1 liter doing this already. And then we're going to fill the actual tank with the gasoline and then siphon again to put this into the steel drum. So now we've lost about 200 avgas, but we now have 22.5 liters of gasoline. Let's see if it still turns on. It does. We have about 11% fuel. So we're still really not good enough to get an actual flight going. And of course, we still need to restore the battery, because without the battery, we're going to have some issues, right? And we could burn fuel because we have an alternator, and I believe it's a working alternator. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Yeah, we have a working car alternator in here. So while we're burning fuel and we're not using battery, we will recharge some battery, but we've only recharged 3 points of battery this entire time. So one thing that we'll probably want to do is we'll want to get some solar panels out here and maybe install our solar panel or something like that on here in order to get it going. But the major thing that we're going to need is we're going to need more fuel. We're going to need to get to one of these gas stations here in town and get more fuel. Joshua's priorities have been reconfigured, reset. Our highest priority now is to get the helicopter up and running. And anything that doesn't directly assist with that priority is kind of going to go on the back burner. We obviously still need fuel. Sorry, we obviously still need food and such like that. But anything that's not absolutely required for our progression towards the helicopter is going to not be as important. Does this thing have gasoline? It requires gasoline. It looks like there is not a gasoline tank in that. That's strange. I guess it's not too strange. We are... Joshua is currently in a hopeless world where pretty much all of the vehicles have been utterly destroyed by the Cataclysm. We're going to make a quick stop back at our house real quick, just to kind of refuel ourselves, get food back in us, and then we are going to make an immediate trip. Ooh, what was that thing? A sproglodyte. We didn't even see it. It leapt towards us so quickly that I actually made several moves before I realized that it was even under attack. We are going to head out, and we're going to immediately try and make for the inner parts of the town and the two gas stations that are actually right next to each other over here, which is very good news for us. There's honestly a little cluster of buildings here that we would like to go to, and we have just kind of gotten tired of holding back and being constantly held back by the zombies. So we're going to try and make a concerted effort to get into town here. Of course, we do still worry about the danger of zombies, so we're not going to take any unnecessary risks per se. But at this point, Joshua sees these risks as fully necessary. We are going to use some nearby buildings in order to maintain cover as we're proceeding farther into town. And every once in a while, we get to climb a building in order to try to dodge the zombies there. Climbed a ladder with an acidic zombie following us in order to get him off our tail for just a moment. Oh man, there are just so many hordes around here still. It's a little intense. See if we can get farther in first. As we even say that, a significant horde seems to just be hanging around our place. I'm not sure why we've managed to attract so many zombies, but we're going to see about backing off from them a little bit here. And this is a bad place to try and take care of them. We'll head into this house instead. This is actually perfect. There's an upstairs. Okay. So we'll rush upstairs, and we're going to try and see about taking care of at least a handful of these guys here. After a pitched and heated battle of slaying, I don't even know how many zombies, we have managed to get some work here done. We actually had to resort to some tactics that I normally don't have to resort to. Joshua taking every single moment and every single advantage that he had at his advantage of actually dropping our tactical backpack in order to recover some of our torso encumbrance and make our attack rolls and balance better so that we could survive for longer. But it does mean that our pipe mace is literally on its last legs. There are some more pipes here that we could use to make another mace. But I do think that this might mean that we have to take a quick jaunt back to our home, get a new mace, and spend yet one more day not dealing with these hordes in this town. I will make a side comment here that every single game I play in my solo time, which I probably play maybe 10 to 20 hours for every hour you guys see on screen, I play in No Hope with similar settings as to what Joshua is doing. And I will say, I have never seen this bad of a horde. At least not this consistently. This is abnormal. I actually don't exactly know what's happening to cause it. Normally, I would be able to make a lot more progress by day 86 of spring. This is definitely something new to me. But we're going to make a new weapon, and we'll see about getting back out there. We actually were able to upgrade. We, instead of a pipe mace, we now have a trench mace. A mace made from a circular chunk of steel pinned to the end of a stick. You can feel your trench raider come alive when you wield it. It's just a little bit better than the pipe mace was. It's still an improvised weapon, of course, but it is a better improvised weapon. And we are going to once again try and make a push towards the gas station. Now we're actually taking down zombies in like 1 or 2 hits, which is nice. Well, that one was probably already damaged. The goal here is to kind of head this way and then head along these buildings to get down to this part of town. I sort of wish that there were some manhole covers, which is what these little symbols are, closer by so that we don't have to travel across the surface of this area, because traveling across the surface of the town is kind of a terrible thing. And the other problem is that the subway stations that would be useful for traveling underground are near our destination, so again, aren't terribly useful. Looks like we already made some friends in this busy city. We're going to pull them back and just try and take care of them so that we don't get overwhelmed. The quickest way for us to die at this point is to get overconfident and overwhelmed. There isn't too many things that can single-handedly defeat us right now, but there are plenty of things out there that in mass could eventually just wear us down. Of course, every house we come across, especially ones with like bars on its windows like this, we're just going to check really quick to make sure it doesn't have any food, because if it does, that would be actually amazing. Also, this house with metal bars would have also made a very good base. The only problem being that there's this little tiny half-stone wall is not enough to keep the zombies out. But it would also have been very hard for the zombies to get into the base because, well, metal windows are more than a basic zombie can ever really handle. We do see to the south of us some sort of baseball field, which might account for why there are so many zombies in this area. Perhaps there was actually a game going on and that this baseball field was full during the Cataclysm, which would potentially leads to the sheer volume of undead that we're seeing. We do see that feral slider again. Looks like it hasn't gone anywhere. And it immediately teleports to us. And then teleports us. Oh, okay, we do manage to take it down, as disconcerting as that was. And that could have been way worse if it had teleported us to a different square. And unfortunately, it does not seem like the slider has a black crystal on it, which Joshua doesn't know what that is, but we do. And we very much want one. And that's a zombie soldier. We're going to back into this window and take it out. Fortunately, the trench mace is just good enough to be able to take that guy out. And he does have an MRE and an army helmet. Army helmets are absolutely insane. Look, bash, cut, ballistic, pierce. Truly, truly insane resistances. And even though it is dirty, we are going to immediately drop our our helmets and put it on. And I believe we can put a gas mask on with it. We can. Okay. We're not going to probably wear the gas mask right now because, actually it's not giving... I was going to say it puts a lot of encumbrance on our mouth, but it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So we actually probably can go ahead and wear this. I said that and then I immediately changed my mind because I do remember that's the PBA masks, the firefighter PBA masks. For some strange trick of reality, they actually use up their filters even whenever they're not stopping anything from being consumed or being used. So we want to not use that unless we actually have to. Looks like there's a car battery in this bus, but it is also draining, so that is not what we need. We need some sort of medium or large car or storage battery, and we will start recharging it back at our house using the solar panels and then bring it to the helicopter afterwards. A couple books here. Might as well take the time to store them. It's a very quick activity and doesn't mean... Ooh, here we go. A white dust mask. We're gonna put that on for now, just because the dust mask is going to... Oh, that is so many zombies. And there's some feral lizard folk there too. Okay, we're going to back up here. The dust mask is going to prevent some basic level of intrusion of materials on us. It's not going to be great. And if we ever see any like actual gas and such like that, we're definitely going to want to put our gas mask back on. And ideally, we're going to want to get a gas mask that is more automated than the PBA mask, so that we can wear it at all times when in combat. So we don't have to worry about taking it on and off. I would like to get across the street to the south. We're a little bit too far north here. How doable is that? It looks like we can cross without anything seeing us. Go ahead and break down this window, which does make a little bit of noise, but there's not a lot I can do about that. We're going to quickly scan in that book. Does this completely beat up car? It has a battery, but of course it is absolutely destroyed. I don't know why I would have expected any different from a car that looks like that. As we were checking this house, we did find just a little bit more useful stuff and an extension cord, which we are going to take because I have recently gotten a tip from the comments that I very much liked. And once we find a battery, we can actually do a little bit more with the battery immediately than I thought we could. Ooh, there's a lot in here. I don't like this. I want to see if we can just move through the dark of this house and maybe lose some of the people that are following us. We'll take this peanut butter with us and a little bit more food. That goblin can just see us because the goblins have dark vision, because of course they do. And heading out the back there, we're just going to move from house to house using the alleyways here to prevent as much maintained line of sight with the undead as possible. Looks like we've attracted quite a large group up front here. We're going to step into the dark to take care of a couple of them. We're hearing movement behind us, though. So we want to head out the back as soon as possible. And we're actually going to head over to whatever this is. Apparently some sort of restaurant. Must be a really high-class restaurant because there's no tables or chairs in here. I mean, I guess there are some along the walls, but not enough. Meaning that they must have sold their food for an absolutely ridiculous amount in order for this to be a viable business strategy. Joshua kind of scoffs a little bit at the idea of a restaurant that is so posh that they don't need to fill their store with chairs. Taking a quick look around of our surroundings, it looks like these 3 lots are not going to be useful to us. So I think we might actually want to head northeast to this house and then move across to the club on the far side there. It's going to be the only way we get any actual cover. Take out this lizardman real quick. He did make us bleed, but we can use our staunch wound power to get rid of that very quickly so that we can continue on. Ooh, and we found a actually large amount of food here. Actually decent amount of food. I wouldn't say large, but decent amount of food. Which means that we can take a moment and just eat a little bit just to make sure that we're satisfied and that we're not carrying too much extra weight around of us. Another car here. There's a chance. It does actually have a tank on it and everything like that, but there's no fuel in there, and unsurprisingly the battery is completely rot. A bunch of books here though. Bunch of cookbooks. That's really nice. After all of the time in the apocalypse that we've already spent, Joshua's probably quite happy to learn a few new cooking recipes. Even though it's most likely that he's just going to be looking at them longingly because they require things that I can't even imagine how he would even get at this point. All of these doors are ruined to the point of not being able to be opened again. But we're getting very close to our destination at this point. It's crazy to believe that we've only crossed 2 blocks. Once again, just taking a quick examination of our surroundings, it looks like this grocery store or club is going to be our best bet on a good place for cover. And then from there, we can head to the electronics store, the gun store. But we do need to worry that's the fact that we have seen that there is some hordes nearby. And it looks like currently none of the zombies, even though we can see quite a few of them, spotted us. And a bunch did spot us right at the end. So we're actually going to very quickly climb up. That's Feral managed to throw a bunch of rocks at us as we were climbing, which is very unfortunate. And we're going to go prone on the roof so that nothing can see us up here. And we're going to just take a moment to recover from the pain. I do believe that coming up here might have been a small mistake, only because we didn't know at the time. But if you look along the roof and watch the gutter, there's only one gutter drop, which means that there's only one gutter pipe along the entirety of the roof. So getting back down is going to require us to head back to where we came from. And there's a good chance we'll peek down over the ledge. Yes. They destroyed the gutter pipe because they saw us go up it. They destroyed it out of anger and then are still there waiting for us. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if they'll wander away, but it's kind of unlikely that they will. We may have to make an unsafe drop off the side, but from here we can actually kind of take a look around and see what's around us. We can hear for sure that there's a lot of zombies beneath us here. We do manage to lower ourselves down from the ledge safely, and we're going to see about trying to lose. Check that door. It was locked. I want to try and lose some of the horde in between these buildings here. What is this? What is that building? It's just a house? Stone walls are very appealing to me. We'll go ahead and close that door behind us, although it won't matter because there is a feral behind us. And we see something in the darkness. Something new. Something disturbing. A zombie's hollow black eyes survey its surroundings as it stretches and bends in ways that whoever the original body belonged to never could. The only things that seem solid on this flexible, black-veined body are the rows of sharp, black teeth. You get the feeling that the only thing human remaining is the skin, worn as one might wear clothes. A zombie hollow. I don't like that. And we did get immediately grabbed by something as soon as we came in here, so we're actually going to back right back out the door we came in and get away from that. Get very far away from that. That's one of the horrors of the apocalypse, with an emphasis on horror. We'll get into the darkness here. Take out that zombie. And the others seem to have immediately forgotten where we are, which is very good. But we did manage to get... We're like directly across from the gun store now. We should be able to see it in the distance. And it's hard to tell whether the gun store is busted out or not. If it's a busted out gun store, there's a chance that it's not going to be useful to us. We want to take out a few of these guys. But at the same time, we don't want to just keep attracting more and more in. I do think we're actually kind of trapping ourselves here, aren't we? Let's see. That door back there is probably locked. What is our fastest escape route here? It would be nice to kill these so that we could get across to the gun store. The Pharaoh is the most dangerous one, and he is down. Okay. Let's focus on the one that's grabbing us, and then the one that's weak. And it looks like we lost... Some of these zombies actually lost track of us in the darkness here. Oh, okay. So we actually did manage to take that small group up. That was actually a potentially very dangerous situation, and I was taking it as it comes. We're directly across from the... Slightly directly across from the street. There's also an electric car in the street there. Okay. Looks like the back area of this is open. And that's a boomer. So what we're going to do is we're going to back up super quick. Take off the gas mask. Put on the BA mask. And we'll step up and kill the boomer, which is going to make a lot of noise. And now we need to leave. This bank is no longer welcome to us. Oh, and that's a Kevlar zombie. I don't know if we're going to be able to kill that. It does look like we're doing damage to it. It's very durable, though. Okay. That is one of the possible transformations of a military zombie. He also has a military ID card. That's actually quite good. And he has a gas mask, which would be exactly what we want in order to replace our PBA mask. But the problem is that it's so badly damaged and it's going to be so difficult to repair that it's not worth taking with us. We'll step into the darkness of this house in order to catch our breath very quickly. And looking around, the hordes are just getting thicker and thicker. Joshua doesn't want to return without accomplishing at least something, though. So what we're going to do... Oh, there's a treadmill here. I want to check something real quick. Theoretically, would we have been able to practice athletics on this treadmill? We can. Interesting. Unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too heavy to carry with us, and I don't think we can disassemble it. I just want to know for the future. Yeah, we can only break it down for component parts. We can't actually bring it with us. If we could have brought it with us, that would have been one of the more amazing finds, because being able to bring a treadmill home with us would be very, very nice. We're going to lead this Pharaoh in here, take him out, and there's a thorny shambler right behind, which is going to attempt to poison us. Fortunately, we take it down before it gets a chance to do anything, hitting it repeatedly with our hammer, which causes it to reel. We do see that there is a bank vault there. I doubt we have the computer skill, with only a computers of 2, to get it open, but we may as well try, as we do try and attack it, hack it down, and it immediately shuts down in response. Unsurprising. I would just very much like to at least get to this gun store. Of course, we are now seeing that there's even a dissolute devourer in the street across from us. We might need to head back north to that house above us. Kind of just draw them away, or move away from where we have drawn them. Kill a handful more. Feels like they are endless, though. There was, what, 7 billion people on this planet before the apocalypse? We've only killed a handful of them. Or what remains of them, as it were. I want to step up to the window here and see if we can see the condition of that gun store. It is still too far away. We may have to find respite, perhaps in this or some of the nearby houses, and proceed tomorrow, because it is actually getting late enough that soon we won't be able to see what we're doing. And as much as the cover of night benefits our ability to hide from zombies, it also benefits the ability for zombies to hide from us. And I stepped in here to only instantaneously get attacked by a feral. Oh, it would be nice at this point to find a place for us to stay the night that doesn't involve us heading all the way back. We like the stone walls here, and I don't like the fact that there's windows right next to us, but I believe we're going to try and rest a little bit, get some of the wounds off of us, and recover from the pain, and then in the morning, the first thing in the morning, we're going to try and get back over towards that gun store. And for reasons that I am struggling to understand, despite the fact that we were incredibly dead quiet, a zombie has decided to, entirely of its own volition, bust down an empty window and come straight for us. This is not safe anymore, and there's a feral right behind him. We only took but a momentary closure of our eyes. We're gonna have to find a better place. Perhaps there's a back room of the grocery store that we could occupy? Okay. Despite the panic, despite the concern, we did manage to get into the nearby salon. We found a room that has 2 doors, which is good, which means that if we get attacked from one side, we can head out to the other. And it's unlikely that we're going to get surrounded. So we're going to take a moment here instead and see about recovering from our injuries. A new day, but perhaps not a new me. We wake up, immediately see that zombie hollow, creepy ass thing. We wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, fresh and ready to try again. All we have to do is cross the street. Chickens manage it in almost every joke. Shouldn't be that hard. It is going to require us to take out a handful of zombies, it sounds like. And of course, the first thing they do is they walk up and break a window, which is going to cause a bunch of noise again, bringing in more friends. I feel fairly secure in our ability to back out of this area, so we're going to just take out as many of these guys as possible, because that's going to be less of them to deal with in a moment. There's a new gun here. A Walter PPQ semi-auto pistol. Interesting. We're very close to being overloaded, though, and it doesn't seem like it does anything particularly good compared to what we already had, so we're going to leave it behind. So the Dissolute Devourer is to our south. So if possible, we'd like to basically head straight across. And despite how many zombies are on the street, none of them really... are you kidding me? A second Dissolute Devourer is hanging out right by the gun store. And we did finally just get eyes on the gun store, I just noticed as well. Is that this gun store is ransacked. Everything inside is broken. There is a chance, I mean, there is a USB pistol +1 there. There's a chance that there's still good stuff inside there. But as we kind of look across it, it does look like there was already a shootout against the undead there, which is another reason why there may be so many here. We're going to change this to a question mark, because we no longer know if that is worth our time. Instead, I think we're going to back off and instead head south towards that gas station. Joshua is capable of taking down several zombies at this point, and has definitely shown his ability in that regard, but a Dissolute Devourer is a creature with incredible health and incredible regeneration, and I think that taking one of those down right now would be probably far outweighing our abilities. Simply moving from house to house. Oh, I was about to say moving house to house quietly, but then we just noticed that boomer. How long do we have on our gas mask? 13 charges. It should last. The boomer would have just blinded us. It's not the worst thing in the world, but we do need to take care of it without losing any of our advantage. I'm sorry, what? A zombie lich in the distance. The twisted visage of the human body, decked in bone from head to toe. Its vague shape reminiscent of some tabletop monster, and it walks and watches your actions with a cold and calculating demeanor. What the hell is with Joshua's world and how insanely hostile it is? We're just going to walk away from that one and just full on get out of there. We'll cut through this building to try and lose any pursuers and try to forget that we saw something that we've heard some nerdy kids talk about in the past. There's no way that's real, right? There's no way. We had to be mistaken. Looks like there's no good exit from the south side of this building, which does mean that we are going to have to just follow the wall. And, of course, more zombies in the street. Not far from the gas station now. As we step out, yet another significant horde. The gas station is so close, and it looks like it's in some amount of repair. Some of the ATMs are pretty badly destroyed, but there is an automated gas console there. It's a diesel pump. We don't really want to mix diesel and gasoline, but depending on how much we have of it, each particular one, we may be able to use whatever is the best. Use whatever we have the most of, essentially. I'd like to get a little bit across here, and maybe perhaps jump into the gas station here. What the hell is that? Skittering Plague, a giant, sickly-looking cockroach that appears to be using the undead as its primary food source. The diet of infected flesh doesn't seem to harm it, but instead, something about the roach's biology is clearly changing. It doesn't seem interested in you. This tough zombie came up on me very quickly, and the other one followed in suit. We're going to take them out very quickly, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to climb this fence to get away from them and escape into the darkness of this hardware store, which would probably be a good place for us to check out. We're going to kind of just scan the shelves here, see if there's anything that jumps out to us, but we're not going to take the time to search this entire place. And as we look out the front, we do see that there's another enormous horde with nearly half a dozen zombie cops and SWAT zombies out front. Joshua has the worst luck out of any survivor I have ever met. And for some reason, the zombies have been attracted to us, even though we were in complete darkness. Again, I'm starting to wonder if we have like a strong scent or something, because this is seriously getting to be a bit much. Okay. Looks like we're in some sort of parking garage, and we do manage to... Ooh, a parking garage is actually really good for us. We do manage to get to the upper floor, and there is a fully repaired car battery in here. Okay, we've at least achieved something once we can find the damn thing. It only has 3,000 charge. It might not be good for our helicopter, but it will be quite good for our home. This one has no battery. This one has no battery. This one does have a battery, but I can't tell what kind of condition it's in. It's pretty destroyed. We do hear below us, as the zombies more or less followed us in, are just kind of tearing apart a few cars that are on the first floor. You know what? We're going to crouch so that stuff doesn't see us moving around up here from afar. Having the multiple levels of this place is very valuable to us, especially because there's so many entrances and exits from as well. Kind of just want to take a moment to look around. We can see pretty far with this garage park. And honestly, if we didn't have a better base, we probably would consider this place, at least for a moment, because it has several entrances. The only problem is it doesn't really have any amenities, right? And it's kind of out in the open. There are some elevators here, but they no longer work. There's no indoors. I wonder how bad the first floor has gotten. You know, not as bad as I thought it would be. It does look like there's definitely a lot here, and one of the cars that they were tearing apart was potentially previously in good condition. Using the darkness of the parking garage here, we can actually do a number on these creatures and thin out the horde just a little bit. Oh, and there's another very well repaired car here. Oh, it has 4 large storage batteries. And a couple of them are in complete, multiple are in complete full repair. Oh, wow. This electric car is kind of exactly what we needed. We're going to want to take both of those large storage batteries with us. And we'll in fact also even go ahead and mark this down. We might not have the time to do it now, And the fact that it's on the first floor is very inconvenient for us because, once again, Joshua is incapable of getting lucky. It may be a good idea for us to stop fighting here. Just because... But I'm thinking we might want to not continue to be here because we don't want that electric car to be damaged while we're attracting zombies to us. So I think we'll try and make our way north. We'll use the construction of the buildings here to try and get through. Whoa! Well, every 5 feet, I swear, we run into yet another small horde. And I understand that we're in the city, but this is actually starting to get a little ridiculous. I think we're going to head up to the top floor here. Crouch down in the darkness and just wait off some of our pain. So what we're going to do is, we're actually going to drop our backpack up here so that we can reduce our load. And we're going to take out as many zombies as we can because we need to be able to work here. There's a tough zombie in the staircase. Take out this dog first because it's going to cause problems for us. Because this is actually a relatively good place for us to deal with this horde. Because we have a safe area to retreat to repeatedly if we need to. As long as we don't get surrounded or grabbed by too many, we should be able to deal with the vast majority of this horde using the advantage of the terrain here. And we retreat into the upper levels and the darkness whenever we can. That fat zombie just managed to get a bite off on us, which means that we need to immediately head back up here to our backpack and see about washing that off. Antiseptic. We've cleared out a decent number of them. There's obviously still dozens around us. Is this car still in good condition down here? It is. I am very worried that fighting here is going to just absolutely get that car destroyed, just like this one just got ripped apart. Because as they're trying to get to us, they're just going to go straight through the damn thing. They're just going to tear through it to try and kill us. It does look like we can get inside the gas station just fine. Taking out most of the horde that was inside of it. There is some sort of secure door in the back, which is a little strange to us. Yeah. And it's a little strange, like... Is this floor building multiple floors? It is. Very curious. We'll have to investigate that in a moment. And we don't want to go too far here. Away from our backpack. We're going to actually just use that bandage and medical gauze directly from this guy's backpack here. The trench mace again. And we have our first official problem. Through all of our work and all of our dedication, taking out all of these zombies so that we could get this far into the city, our trench mace is about to break. Which also means that, yeah, its damage has fallen to almost nothing as it is falling apart in our hands. We have killed so many zombies and only crossed a handful of blocks into the city. It is a struggle for sure. It is a moment-to-moment struggle to make any progress in this city towards our goals. And this is why Joshua never landed in town in the first place. His helicopter was a safe haven in the sky, a place where he can watch all of the horror happening, but it was distant. It wasn't happening to him, but now it is. And with that, we're going to unfortunately have to end here. So close, but so incredibly far from our goals. I hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes, and if you guys are, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and any suggestions in the comments below. If you want to see more of this or other hard games, please subscribe. I hope you have a nice day. Goodbye.